Hi, this is Kristi Hust, creator of Blissen Natural Skincare and Cosmetics. Today I'm going to share with you an easy way to make your own loose mineral blush at home. In the last video, I showed you how to make a matte blush. Well, in this video, I'm going to show you how to make one with more shimmer. The color I'm going to be making is the one I call Cheeky, and it's a shimmery pinkish rose color. Now to do this blush, I like to do it in two phases. First, I'm going to make the base, which is just a shimmery white color. And then after I make the base, then I add my pigments to it. The four ingredients I'm going to use to make the base are kaolin clay, cerussite mica, arrowroot powder, and then this satin white mica. It's really shimmery, so this is what gives it that nice sparkle. Since I'm going to be filling up my jar, I'm going to use a half a cup and a quarter cup measuring. The ratio for this is 1 part satin white mica, 1 part of the cerussite, 1 part arrowroot powder, and a half of the kaolin clay. So if you're doing this on a small scale, you might want to start by tablespoon measurements. I'm going to list it all out for you in the blog post, so if you need more clarification on that, go ahead and click the link below, and that will take you to the written description of the recipe, so it'll all be clear there. Sometimes I get a little disorganized when I'm in front of the video camera, but anyway, the cerussite mica. Another thing I like to do is blend some of the ingredients. I like to blend in the NutriBullet. Like kaolin clay, it can clump if you let it sit in the bag for a while. So I like to mix it in the NutriBullet to make sure it's nice and smooth and without clumps. If you don't have a NutriBullet that you want to use for makeup, you can also use a coffee grinder for a small batch, or you can use a food processor for a large batch. The main thing you want to keep in mind is that you want the container to seal tight so the dust doesn't fly up into the motor and ruin your appliances. So NutriBullets luckily seal very tight, so I am fine with that. Let's see. So I am only going to blend the kaolin clay with the arrowroot powder. Micas and cerussite mica, they have a natural shimmer to them, so I try to blend them as little as possible, because if they go through the grinder, they can lose some of the flat surface on the individual little grains of powder, and that can decrease the shimmer that you get from it. So I'm going to blend up my kaolin clay. Again, this is a quarter cup of kaolin. It's just a white powder clay. Throw that in there. I'm going to do a half cup of the arrowroot powder. I'm getting low on that. I have to order a new batch. And those are the only two ingredients I'm going to blend for now. Just put my lid on tight and give it a few seconds on the NutriBullet. And that's probably enough. Now I'm going to let that sit for a minute, because otherwise a cloud of dust will come up. So now I'm going to add the satin white mica directly to my jar here. And this, I'm going to use a half a cup. I might pour it directly in here. See if I can do this without making a mess like I did in my last video. I had powder everywhere. You can see it does start to fly around in the air a little. You know, the measurements don't have to be exact, so see, I got smart. I made a paper funnel to pour my minerals in there. cup of that satin white mica. It gives it that really nice shimmer. And then half a cup of the cerussite mica. Dump that right in. There's clouds of minerals all over my kitchen. If you're doing a lot of this, or if your respiratory tract is sensitive, you might consider wearing a mask because you do have dust particles flying everywhere. So to protect your lungs, you might want to consider wearing a mask. Okay, this should be settled down a little bit now. I'll pour that in with the rest of my ingredients right into my storage container for my shimmer blush base. All right, this will last me a while. Now I'm going to shake this up since I didn't mix my micas with the arrowroot and clay yet. Now for cheeky, I'm going to be using 3 tablespoons of this shimmer blush base. And then, I don't know how to tell you guys to do this. When you're using pigments, they're so potent that you can't add a ton of them. So these are the measuring spoons that I'm using. And all of them are less than a 1/4 teaspoon because you need such a small amount of them. I got these on Amazon, and they measure by the pinch, smidgen, drop, dash, and tad. So if you can pick these up, they're really nice for measuring pigments. If you're going to be doing a lot of this, I would recommend getting some of these, or even the little micro spoons for measuring pigments. But if you use like teaspoons, you're going to end up with way too much pigment unless you're making a huge batch of this stuff. So I'm just going to tell you how I'm using these today, and you might have to guesstimate a little bit on your own if you don't have these measuring spoons. So like I said, 3 tablespoons of the base. I'm going to be using 1 dash of the red oxide blue shade. Both of these are red oxides. One has a blue shade, one has a red shade. You can see the difference there. The red one is a little more orangey. This one's got a little more blue tint to it. So 1 dash of the red oxide blue and 1 pinch of the red oxide red, and then 2 pinches of the red basics mica. Now this is a nice shimmery color for our shimmer base. And again, I'm going to be blending these oxides. They just clump up if you don't blend them. So I like to blend them, but not overdo because I don't want to ruin the shimmer in this. So what I'm actually going to do is get my tablespoon out here that I used for my matte blush. Okay, so even though I need 3 total of this, I'm only going to put 1 in for now because I don't want to grind it up any more than I have to because of that pretty mica in there. I don't want it to lose its shimmer. So I'll remember to add 2 more tablespoons after I blend this. Okay, so I got my red oxide blue shade, and I said I was going to do 1 dash of that. Tap that in. I'm going to do 1 pinch of the red oxide red. I've seen red oxide red also called Americana in some other brands and companies, so you can look for that. And now I'm going to grind these all together using the NutriBullet to disperse those oxides really well. give it another spin. Sometimes the base gets stuck under the blades. I don't want those left. All right. And I'm probably going to have it float up on me, but that's okay. Pretty. Okay, so now I'm going to add the remaining 2 tablespoons of my base. This one. 2. And then I'm going to add this mica. And like I said, I don't like to blend it because it does dull the shimmer a little bit if you blend it. So I'm going to do 2 pinches of that Red Basics mica. I'm just cleaning off the oxide off my spoon here. There's 1 pinch, 2 pinch. All right. So this is our total recipe here. And I know it's going to be a fairly large batch. It'll fill about 3 containers of blush, but you really can't do a small enough batch to just make 1 at a time because those pigments are so strong. It's hard to measure it that way. So this is how I do it. Yeah, you can make one for yourself and share the rest with your friends. How's that? Christmas is in a couple months, so you can think of gifts. There we go. It's floating everywhere. I don't know how well you can see that. See this? The dust particles floating. That's why if you have respiratory concerns, you may want to wear a mask. Now to bottle these, you can leave them in an open container. It's going to stay a loose mineral blush like this, but I like to use these sifter blush containers, and I get these off of TKB Trading, and that's also where I get most of my pigments and oxides and like the kaolin and the cerussite mica. So a lot of those things come from tkbtrading.com. And these containers are nice because you get a base container and they have like the sifter lid and then the regular lid. So I am going to actually measure mine so I get the right amount without overfilling or underfilling. And the thing that works the best for me is actually a metal baby spoon. It's great for transferring the minerals into these little containers because you can't just dump it in there or you'll really end up with a mess. And the blush, it takes about 5 grams of the blush to fill it just about right. So that's what I'm shooting for here. We'll see how close I can get. 5.1, good. All right, then I'll just try to level it off and shake it down a bit. I did spill on the side this time, so I'll just wipe that off. Put my sifter lid on. When you put these on, do it gentle, because if you just press it down right away, you can end up with a puff of dust come out. All right, and that is our cheeky blush for today. I like it. Turned out really nice. So if you enjoyed this recipe and would like more recipes and tips on natural skincare and cosmetics, feel free to visit blissennaturals.com. And if you enjoyed this video today, please like us on YouTube and share on social media with your friends. Thanks so much for watching.